Everybody wants to be, but nobody wants to do. Girl, it's time to be real, raw, and relentless. Everybody wants to be, but nobody wants to do. You know it's time.
Recrown you.
What's up, guys? It's your girl, Truly Inspired Martin, and welcome to another episode of Recrown You, the podcast, baby. Yes, we are here for the women who are ready to be real, raw, and relentless in pursuit to unleash their inner badass. So what does that mean for you? That means that you are a woman that is willing to take a journey that you don't even know what's ahead of you. You are willing to peel back the layers of yourself to say, you know what? There's some shit that I have not dealt with, and I'm ready to take that journey to be the best version of myself. You are the woman that says, you know what? There's a lot of things that I wish we discussed because I face some of these things or I've dealt with some of these things, but nobody talks about it. That's what we're doing here. I'm making sure to bring you the issues, the things of your heart, not only the things of my heart, but the things that you guys request as well. I'm so excited about this month because it is Mental Health Awareness Month, and it's a conversation that we got to get started because it's a real big deal, right? But we don't really like to talk about what's going on the inside and the brain, right? We talk about when we get cuts and bruises and we're banged up on the outside physically. But what about what goes on the inside? That mentality can power and wire up everything else about you. If your mind ain't right, trust me, a lot of other things won't be either. But this week, we're all about the men. Yes, you heard me right, ladies. We're all about the men. We are bringing the men to the forefront in this segment that I call They Need Us Too, Men and Mental Health Edition. And the reason why this is such a big deal to me is because a lot of us either have husbands, boyfriends, ex-boyfriends, somebody that we're gonna date, we want to marry, uncles, cousins, best friends, whomever. You got a man in your life somewhere, right? And I think it's so important for us to know what they are going through in their lives and what they have gone through mentally. Because if we don't understand, then we will not be able to know how to act accordingly. So this segment is all about highlighting men and their struggles with mental health so that we as the women can understand them just a little bit better. So I hope this does something to your spirit, to your soul. Make sure that you pull out some pen and paper. If you're driving, you might have to re-listen to this so you can get the notes, but take some mental notes. You feel me? Because this is something that you're really, really going to need going forward. Trust me, every one of these interviews has something that I call a tangible takeaway. You have to be willing to do the work. It's all good and well when you're listening to me and I'm entertaining, I know, and so are my guests. But I don't want you to just sit there and listen. I want you to absorb, take notes, and utilize this going forward because that's what we're here for. That's what Recrown You is about, baby. It's about you doing the work. But in the meantime, let's get into what y'all know. I start every episode off with a little bit of statistics, baby. So let's go ahead and get into that. So men and mental health, right? So I was looking at some statistics actually on mentalhealthamerica.net, right? So the U.S. male population, let me make sure I say this number correctly because, honey, it's huge. 151,781,326 men in the male population, okay? And there are 6 million males affected by depression every year, okay? 6 million are, and that's just the probably the blanket number that we know, right? There are over 6 million men who suffer from depression every year. And male depression often goes undiagnosed because men are more likely to report fatigue, irritability, loss of interest in work or hobbies, rather than feelings of sadness or worthlessness. Like men go through it a little bit different, man, but 6 million? And you got to think about it, right? A lot of men suppress how they feel. They suppress their issues. They suppress life, right? Because they the pillar. They the man. They got to boss up and keep it tough, right? But at the end of the day, they struggle just like we do. And sometimes even worse because they keep it all inside. And I think that's where we're going to start today. Like, this is very important for us to bring this to the forefront. And here's a quote for you by William Shakespeare. We know what we are, but not what we may be. Woo! Y'all better write that down, commit it to memory, because it's important. We know what we are right now in the physical, right? But not what we may be, what we're transitioning to. I'm telling you that you've always been who you're supposed to be, but you just haven't unleashed that person yet. And it's time to peel the layers back, honey. So without further ado, I got to tell y'all about today's guest. We got the Joevan J. Palmer. Now, listen, this is my brother, so I'm going to need y'all to come with some straight respect, posture up, get right, because he's about to bring you some straight. First of all, I feel like I should be addressing him as pastor, but I ain't gonna do that to him right now. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm going to let him go ahead and go through the process first, but this man has a story. This man is a very genuine and authentic soul. And that's why I connect with him, you know what I'm saying? But not only that, he's willing to share his story of his struggle of mental health. He is the owner, CEO of the Embolden Institute. The Embolden Institute. Let me make sure I say that right? He is an author, speaker, and identity coach. And today's topic, honey, is called All on the Table. JJ, you in the building?
I'm here. What's going on, Miss Truly Inspired Martin?
Yeah, let's get into it. How's your day going?
Oh, it's going awesome. I can't complain at all.
I know that's right. So tell us about you. Who is JJ? I just made that up right on the spot. Though. Who's JJ?
So JJ, or as I go by, Joevan J. Palmer, is a young man from Syracuse, New York. Matriculated down to the South when I was 16 years old. Graduated from Winston-Salem State University, one of the top HBCUs in the land.
Okay, slow down. Clark Atlanta University is still on top, so get with it.
I said one of the top because we all get love.
Okay, cool. I'll let you slide there.
All right. So here I am today here in Atlanta, Georgia, with my hands on a lot of things. I work in social services full-time, 9 to 5. I manage the E-Complex I'm a Chambly under David Shands, Janae Bradley, and Brandon Dixon. I own my own business, the Embolden Institute. We focus on identity coaching. We help people find their identity after traumatic situations. And of course, I have my own clothing line, Living Blessed. You can find that at IamLivingBlessed.com. And I'm a photographer in the making. And like you did mention, I am studying to become a pastor in the church. I just want to do things a little different. So I'm not your typical pastor. I cuss a little bit. I get frustrated. I get angry. I'm a human just like everybody else. And that's what I want to change about the whole stereotypical look and feel of pastors.
Ooh, I love it. Ain't you like a 10-time author or something? You got like mad books.
I got one book out and I got 3 in the making.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got that work. You got that work in the trunk.
Yeah, always. Master P out here.
I'm here for it. So let's go ahead and dive in, man. What does all on the table mean? This is a strong topic. Like, I'm over here thinking poker. I'm over here thinking about betting it all. I'm over here deep in my thoughts. So let's get into your story. What does that mean?
And that's exactly what it means. Putting it all on the table, all your chips, everything that you've dealt with, everything that you've gone through, you put it all on the table and getting off your chest. For years, I've dealt with, depression and didn't even know it. Just recently, as of recent, I'm in therapy right now dealing with my depression. As a young boy at the age of 12 years old, I was molested by a family member. And that's when I lost my life. I felt like a part of me died. A part of my identity died. Who I was, I just didn't know anymore after that moment. It went on for about a year or so. And the people you feel that are supposed to protect you was the one that, stripped my identity from me.
Wow. And,
it's just from that time, I was always just trying to figure myself out, always trying to fit in because I didn't know where I fit in life. They had this thing called the middle child syndrome. And I felt personally that I suffered from it because I just didn't know who I was. I felt like I didn't fit in with my family. I didn't fit in with my friends really. I didn't fit in with society. I was just out here alone trying to make life happen the best I knew how.
Oh, that. Oh, that's heavy. That's heavy, and that's real. Like, so, damn. Like, you got me at a loss for words. So, you said what age did that take place?
12 years old.
12 years old. Jeez. And that was by a family member.
Correct.
Ooh, what did that do to you, like mentally? Like,
Mentally, it shut me down. I was always a shy kid, but it kind of put me more of in a shyer box, if that's even a word. But I'll let you know now. I'm going to make up some words on this show.
Hey, I do that too, so go on with it.
Webster ain't got nothing on me. So, yeah, it just shut me down. It put me into the first stage of my depression that I just didn't know about. You know, I didn't tell anybody about it because I just didn't know what to say or how to say it or if anybody would really believe me. So I held it in for about until I was 18 years old, maybe 18 or 19. And it was an ex-girlfriend in college who I was just opening up to her because we got that close. You know, it was something like love. It was love. And she was just telling, you know, you need to tell your parents. And she was just kind of gave me an ultimatum. Like, if you don't tell her, I don't know what our relationship's going to look like, because if you can't come out about that to your family, what can you not come out to me about?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, over Christmas break, I sat my parents down. I told them, you know, what happened, who did it, and everything like that. And it was a weight off my shoulder, but this depression still sat there because we all know in the Black community, therapy isn't something that's either mentioned, it's nothing that's highlighted, it's nothing that we do.
Right.
So I didn't really know anything about going to a therapist. My parents didn't know anything about taking me to a therapist. You know, they would ask me if I'm okay, how I'm dealing with it, and I just tell them, my answer was, I just don't know. Or was, you know, I'm fine, because I just really didn't want to talk about it with my parents like that. So I dealt with that throughout college. I did well in school. Well, not well, but I passed. I got a degree.
I know that part.
You know, they say C's get degrees, and I made it happen.
Hey.
So throughout that time, it's really just, I was trying to figure me out because I was a very popular kid in college. That's when I began to blossom and kind of start finding me and finding who I was. And it was my senior year of college. I was really trying to figure my life out and what was next. So I was sleeping around with a young lady at the time, and I made a vow to God, like, hey, I'm going to be celibate. But yeah, that wanted being dead after that night.
That's for that.
Right. So I woke up maybe about 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, and I just had this very gut feeling like, yo, you need to get up out of here. So I called my best friend and was like, yo, come pick me up. And she was like, where you at? I told her where I was at, and she came and got me. And the first word, as soon as I got in the car, she said, I told your ass so. I told you. And I was like, you know, you're right. And from there, it was just, that's when I started discovering that God had picked me, he had marked me, he selected me to go into ministry. So that's what I was doing. I was moving into that lane of ministry and trying to figure that out and trying to find my identity in ministry, because as a young kid, I never really seen young pastors or pretty much young people in ministry besides, you know, of course, the youth choir and the usher board. So I came down to Atlanta, really just trying to figure me out, trying to find a job, trying to really get into this whole thing called life. And that's when shit hit the fan. That's when curiosity that I thought I suppressed and pushed away for so many years had came to the forefront. And my curiosity about homosexuality just kind of started popping up. And I was trying to push it. I was trying to fight it. I was, you know, saying to myself I was okay. And then, of course, we got too much access to us. We have these cell phones that give us access to anything in the world that we want. And I just slowly started scrolling, and I guess at the time Craigslist was popping. So I was on Craigslist looking for, I wouldn't even call it love, just looking for something to get me off sexually. That's all really. It wasn't nothing like
right.
I was looking for love or nothing like that, because I wasn't. You know, I wasn't the type, you know, we going to have a relationship. It was just really just what happened to me was coming out of me sexually.
Got you.
And I didn't know how to control that. And so Craigslist, I was on Craigslist, doing what I did, man after man after man. And the crazy thing was I was out here doing it dumb. I wasn't being smart about it. I was using protection and all that stuff, but still, I wasn't getting tested. I was just out here. And the thing is, I didn't deal with any female at the time, really. I was just focused on me. And because I feel, it's not cool. That's one thing I'm not cool with is the fact that people who live these double lifestyles and are out here infecting women and tearing women apart. And, that's just not cool. And the reason it's not cool to me because a handful of my friends are female. So I know exactly what their heart feels and what their heart beats. And I just knew in my mind, in my heart that I couldn't be that guy. So I dated myself. I took myself out, I just did me for some years until I figured out what lifestyle I wanted to live in. To sum it up, it was really just, I wasn't about that life. It was, like I said, that sexual desire from the molestation was coming out of me and I just didn't know how to control it. So the only way I knew how to control it was, just go and do it and experience life and see, is it for me? And, after some time of doing it, I was like, this isn't for me. I'm not about this life. I would come home crying in the shower, wash myself because I felt filthy. I felt dirty. And I was doing this alone, quietly. Nobody really knew. Like, nobody knows. And truth be told, this is probably the first time I'm talking about this publicly.
Oh, wow.
And it's because it's time. It's time. After I sat down with my therapist, I've been seeing her for maybe the past year. And she was the first person I told about this. And she was just saying, don't blame yourself because you've had a fucked up life. Those are her exact words.
Yes.
And
you can't.
Hearing that was what lifted the boulder off of my chest. Because at the same time, I was blaming myself all the time. Like, it's my fault, it's my fault, it's my fault. I did this to me. And I didn't realize that, it wasn't me that did this to me. It was the one who did this to me's fault.
Yes.
And that's my freedom started coming, free. Like, I'm a free guy right now. I'm a free man. Like, people who know me knows whatever's going to come out my mouth is going to come out my mouth. I'm going to say what I need to say. I'm going to do what I need to do because I've never experienced freedom like I have right now. And within therapy, my first session, she was saying, you need to practice on telling people. And I was like, shit, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, that can be tough.
Right, real tough.
And I think that also comes down to there's a lot that goes around that, right? There's the embarrassment.
Right.
There's the judgment of people. Like a lot of us like to say, I don't care what people think, but come on, let's be honest. Like there's sometimes when they say sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you. That's bullshit.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because words do hurt. And if somebody is to retaliate with words that make you feel that you should have kept this to yourself forever, then that can put you in that place of, damn, why did I even share this? And I think one quote that I heard from what was his name? I think it was Ralph Ellison, the Invisible Man. He said, "When I discover who I am, I'll be free." And I think that is. Oh my God, yo, your story got me over here. I'm definitely about to cry, bro. But
that quote holds weight because I've discovered Joevan.
Yes.
I didn't discover nobody else. I didn't discover my mother, my father, my brother, my sister, or any other friend. I discovered me finally. And that's where my freedom came because it was like, at the time when she told me that, I was sitting in the office and she was saying, who are you? I was texting, and she said, who you text right now? I said, a group of friends. She said, tell them right now. And I was like, shoot. And so I told them, I told them, and I didn't get the reaction I was expecting. The reaction I was expecting was, are you serious? Like, I was really just expecting what everyone would think, the worst.
Yeah.
But the response I got from my friends was nothing but love. It was just, I'm glad you have figured this out. I'm glad you're in therapy. I'm glad, there was just this gladness for me. And one friend was like, I kind of knew, but I just wasn't 100% sure. But I'm glad that you figured you out, because I still love you anyway. Just to hear those words, I still love you anyway, gave me assurance. And it gave me a peace about, if these are like, this shows like these are my true friends.
Yes.
My friends who know me. Like, we've been in the mud together, we've cried, everything together throughout college. Those are my college people, like my family, friends that became family.
Right.
And, the fact that they still showed me love after that was like, you know what? It's cool. I'm gonna be okay. So around this time, my birthday I was turning 30. And for some a guy at my job, he was like, something about the age of 30 is when you really find yourself. And it's crazy that it's all coming full circle that at the age of 30, I started therapy. I started sharing my story. I started finding me. I started, I've gotten to my dream career. Everything has been happening since 30. And I went to Vegas for my 30th birthday. My best friend lives in Vegas. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go to Vegas. I'm not going to do anything crazy. Just go visit my best friend, hang out with her, go to Cali for a little bit. I got family out. Well, her family is my family. So I got family out there. So why not? So I sat her down and I was like, we need to talk. I was just getting to the point where I'm telling people now, I'm getting comfortable. So I was like, we need to talk. She was like, okay, what is this about? And she knows my tone of voice when I say certain things, like, right. Oh God. She was like, are we going to need a drink? Quick, right, exactly. Exactly. So she was like, do I need a drink? I said, you're going to need a drink for this one. So I went and got her a drink, got me a drink, and we sat down. I was like, this is what it is. Throughout life, I told you about me being molested. She's like, yeah. So, it got deeper than that. It got deeper than that. I went and experienced homosexuality. She's like, what? And I was like, yeah. She's like, not you. I was like, yeah, me. And she said, are you okay? I said, I'm fine. She said, cool. I'm glad you're okay. That's what I'm concerned about for the most part, that you are okay. And then it was like, her next question was, well, have you been tested? And I was like, nah, I'm scared. I was scared. I've been scared as hell to get tested. And she was like, well, another ultimatum. If you don't get tested, I don't know where our friendship lies, because, you can't be out here like this and I can't lose my best friend, because she had already lost a best friend. Like, it's crazy how we met. I'm going to tell the story how we met. When people meet me, I come off a little strong. Sometimes I joke with you. I just joke with you. Just kind of make you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And at the time, she had lost her best friend, her sister, matter of fact. And her sister died on my birthday.
Oh.
Right. And we both feel as if, like I was just an angel sent to her and she was an angel sent to me. And, since then we clicked and we became the best of friends. It's like strictly friendship. That's it. That's my dog. She knows me in and out. I know her in and out. When I got problems, she got problems. We hash them out, and that's it. And you just can't lose a friend like that.
Yeah.
And she was just saying, you need to do this, not just for me, but for your family, for your future wife, for your kids, because you need to know that you're okay. And it took me about a couple of months to really just come to grips, like, I just need to do this. I need to make this happen. So I just happened to need to go to the doctor because my shoulder was messing up and it was time for a physical anyway. So the doctor, she's talking, she's asking the routine questions, and then she comes up, are you sexually active? I said, as of now, no, but I was some time ago. And she was like, well, I feel you need to get tested. I was like, you know what? Go ahead and do it. Those words just flowed out of my mouth. Like, just go ahead and do it.
Like,
I'm here.
Like, let's
exactly. Don't shoot me up with the needle, take the blood, get me right. And for some reason, like, I wasn't as nervous as I thought I should be. There was a peace about it. I prayed about it, and God gave me peace. Peace with whatever the outcome is. I'm going to have to live with it, because my thing is this. At the end of the day, I couldn't blame nobody for my actions. Though I didn't know, I couldn't control them, I'm still a grown-ass man at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And, I can't put the blame on nobody but me. So I got my results back in, and the only results I was waiting for was my blood work. Everything else, my urine tested out clear. Whatever other stuff they do, the doctors do, everything was clear. And so the blood never came back. And I'm like, all right.
Oh, shit.
God damn. Right. Right. This one. And so he said, I said, you know what? I'm going to give it to God. I'm letting it go. I can't be a man of faith and be worried about stuff. So I let it go, and I got another email. My insurance is through Kaiser. So Kaiser sends you email, you have a new testing alert. Whatever. Kaiser give you everything. So I'm like, shoot. And I was, I think I was about to get my car in somewhere. And I looked, I said, damn. So I was like, You trying to get yourself together, like, all right.
That's a hell of a feeling, bro. I've been there.
Right. And the crazy thing is, like, I looked at it and everything came back negative. I was good to go. And at that moment, man, I gave nothing but glory to God for keeping this fool, because it could have been worse. I could have turned out HIV, AIDS positive, but I didn't. I could have came up with an STD that I couldn't get rid of, but I didn't. And to me, God is good. God is faithful. He kept me. And it was just like, all right, I got to get it together. So from there, I kind of, it's still in therapy because I discovered that, I suffer from depression from what happened to me.
Yeah.
And she was like, you're a functional depressant. You're a functional depressant. You have functional depression. And I was like, what does that mean? She's like, your moods are going to be up and down. Some days you're going to feel like dealing with people. Some days you're not. Some days you're probably pissed off at the world for no reason. Yeah. And it's because of everything that you've internalized for so long and you haven't figured out how to deal with it. So I've been, talking with her pretty much for once it was like weekly, then it became, as I began to get better, it became bi-weekly, then it became monthly. And, we chit chat, we laugh, we joke and everything. Like I just feel so free now to tell this story. And I was figuring out how to incorporate this into my speaking engagements and stuff like that. And that's where I was talking with David, David Shanes about, telling my story with him and sharing everything with him. And he was like, you got a powerful story. You got to share it.
Yes.
And I was like, well, how do I share it? What do I call it? And he was like, we were just talking and giving he's like, keep talking. I'll think. So I'm talking. He's thinking. He's like, I got it. Identity. You need to focus on identity.
Yes.
Because what you've gone through is something that definitely is going to, everybody's gone through it. People are trying to figure out who they are. Am I this? Am I that? And he was saying, that's part of your story. You're going to have to tell, you have to stand up, boss up, and do it. So I'm actually working on a book that's talking about this story. And it's part of my speaking career. It's part of who I am. And I'm not ashamed about it no more. I thought, for the longest, I'm never going to get married, probably never find a girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what? I'm all good. I'm cool. And how I knew I was cool was when, what's his name? The big swole speaker dude who be coming hard at me.
You said the big swole. What happened?
Derrick Jackson.
Derrick Jackson.
Yeah.
Not the big swole dude.
He's swole, dude. He mad swole. Yeah. But he had posted an article about a girl who dated this guy, and he was molested. Same story as me. He was molested, experienced homosexuality, but she still loved him. And I think to this day they're married and got kids and all that other good stuff. But she was understanding. And when I read that, more freedom came. It's just when you open up and open your mouth and share your story and tell your story, God pours in the freedom.
Yes, there's freedom in your transparency, man.
Yes, definitely.
And I promise you, the right person that's supposed to love you is gonna love you through all your shit and all your mess, regardless.
Facts.
And I swear, women love a man being way more open about this stuff. Because I keep it funky, right? There's a double standard, right, to a woman going through the same thing that you've gone through. And had to go through that same exact lifestyle pattern to kind of discover who she is versus a man. And I'm not gonna lie. I used to be one of those people like, if he do that, then hell no. But if she do that, I guess it's okay, right? And
right.
I have a slightly similar story to yours that I'm not ready to talk about yet, right? Because my story's already deep as hell. When I be telling people that I have a lot of shit, I got a lot of shit, right? That stuff right there to me is kind of if a woman can go through that part in her life and still find a husband, and a man find it sexy and all this other type of stuff, and when a man comes out and is free in the way he has lived and he is now ready to shed those things of the past to be whoever he needs to be now, I don't see why the right woman can't love you for your flaws and all. Right. And I think that's, you gonna find what you need, baby. That's just what it is. And there's actually a chapter in my book that is coming out soon called Recrown You. And the chapter is called Suppression Causes Depression. And that's exactly what it is that I feel even happened with you. You suppressed it so long that it came out in different forms and different facets in your life.
Right.
And it put you in a place of depression because you suppressed it so much that I can't talk about it. This isn't something that I should open up about. This isn't something that I can deal with. Nobody's going to understand. Nobody's going to accept it. And now you're just weighing yourself down and you're stuck in your own little closet that you can't get out of. And that suppression caused you depression. So that's real, real deep. So let's get into this next question, though. The identity coach. Like you said, David gave you the identity part, but like, what do you think mentally, like physically, mentally, whatever happened inside of you? Like, what is that thing that happened that made you say, you know what, I'm ready to own the title as an identity coach because now I know what was wrong with me, so now I can help other people. Because people don't care about what you've been through until you come through, right? So what got you there?
It was, like I said, it was that freedom. That freedom got me there to see, you know what, it was one of the things that if you look at your life and if you was to play your life back as a movie and you're the only person in the theater watching this movie and you're reflecting on this movie, you got to write a paper or a dissertation on it. You know, what was the one thing that you can pull out from it? And identity was it, because we all suffer from identity issues or identity crisis. You know, regardless of who you are and what you are, either identity with the job. You know, the job has been so good to me for all these years that I get fired and I no longer know what to identify with career-wise. Or I was the good wife and the good husband and faithful all these years and I got cheated on. And the only thing I knew how to identify was my marriage or my kids. So as we all identify with something. And for me, I identified, with, at the time, I identified with molestation. I identified with homosexuality. So now I identify my freedom and I think, okay, what does freedom look like? Freedom looks like me. It looks like, a guy who doesn't care, what people think, what people say, what people have to say about me. I'm a big guy, I got the man boobs, the gut, all that stuff. I'm on the beach, shirt off all summer. Granted, I was just lost 30. They don't know how to live anymore. And it's really just finding the identity in who you are, finding your passions, finding what you love, finding the good hobbies, finding the thing that's going to make you some money, finding the thing that's going to take you to the next level in your life. And it all starts with your identity. What you identify with is what you become. So if you identify with money, you become a lover of money. If you identify with cars, you become a lover of cars. If you identify with people, you become a lover of people. If you identify with yourself, you become a lover of yourself.
Baby, it is all on the table, honey. That is good right there. Oh my God, there's just a breath of fresh air just all over this right now because it's real and it's raw, and that's what we're here for. And this is that understanding piece of a man that we don't understand. We can't just look at you and know. And when you start to peel back those layers of who that person is, that's when you truly understand the things they do, the way they act, things that, trigger them. And then you can really understand and appreciate the man that you have because you know what he's been through. Ooh, honey, Lord. So we about to wrap this thing up, but here's one thing that I definitely want you to give me some gems, some juice, something here, right? Because I know that there is a man or a woman that is listening right now that has been where you are or been, or they are there right now and they are struggling through this point in their life. They don't know how to get out of it. They don't know how to speak out about it because of the fear of embarrassment, because of the fear of so many other things that are around them. But they want to be free. They want to be free. They want to live free, and they want the life that they know that they deserve, but they haven't dealt with their past, right? What is some words of advice for someone like this?
Words of advice is the word of advice that God gave me, and it's simple. You aren't the only one. You aren't the first, and you definitely won't be the last. And that's one of the things that gave me my freedom, was finding out, I'm not the first person who's done this, and I damn sure won't be the last. And it's okay. It's okay because we live in such a big world with so many people who are walking around here fake and phony and don't want freedom. They don't want freedom. They don't want that real freedom. That real freedom that hurt. That real freedom that makes you cry sometimes. That real freedom that makes you know that's allow you to say what the hell you want to say, and not feel bad about for saying it. Yeah. And my thing is, if you want to break free, you're gonna have to break free. You have to open your mouth, get some help, talk to somebody. You know, I'm here for it. I'm here to talk to you about your problems because I've been through it. And ain't nothing you can tell me that I ain't heard or done before. And that's my advice I give to that person. Like, you ain't the only one. So don't feel bad about it. Things happen, life happens. We all experiment life in somehow, some shape or form. Some shape or form. But you gotta realize that trouble don't last always, pain don't last always, and what you've gone through ain't gonna last. And I tell people all the time, if you don't identify with something, you identify with everything, and it will drive you crazy.
Ooh, if you don't identify, say that again. I'm writing that down.
If you don't identify with something, you will identify with everything, and it will drive you crazy.
My God. And that is real talk right there. And I think at the end of the day, we just got to realize we all human. We all imperfect people. Shit happens, but you deal with it. And if you don't deal with it, it will deal with you. And that's just what it is. Oh my God, bro. Thank you so much for coming through and blessing us with that testimony, that story, that realness, that everything. You really put it on the table today. And I know for a fact I'm about to get a whole lot of feedback about this here episode because somebody needed you to speak out so that they could be free. And if you don't become, I always tell people this, if you do not become the person that you're supposed to be, the person that's waiting on you will always just be waiting on you. And you'll be the you that never comes because they needed you to become the person that you are now. That is, hello.
That's real. And I'm glad you said that because that's one of the things that's been heavy in my heart is the fact that somebody's waiting on me and I can't have them sitting idle because I want to sit idle in my best. So it's really one of those things, you know, all right, Jay, put on your big boy drawers, get out here, be a man about it, you know, whatever that means. Right. And just do the damn thing.
Man, and you doing a damn thing, man. And I cannot allow you to leave without giving the people some information. Like, how can people get in touch with you? What's some new things you got coming up? Like, we already know about Living Blessed. Like, throw it all on the table like you've been doing, okay? Like, give us, because people need to connect with you because you real, and I love it.
Oh, yeah. So you can reach me on my website, Joevan J. Palmer. That's Joevan J. Palmer, PALMER.com. Instagram, same exact thing, Joevan J. Palmer. Email, you can catch me in the city of Atlanta. I'm always all over the place doing something. And that's just about it.
That's lit. Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you.
Yes. Ladies, I know that this is a journey and this episode was heavy. And you might have to go back and re-listen to it a few times. I understand that. You've got to be willing to do what you got to do for you because it's that important, right? And I know that this might trigger some stuff for some people. I know that there's going to be a lot of different opinions surrounding it, but I don't give a damn. I'm bringing it all on the table because this is the conversations we need to have. These are the things that are affecting our men mentally, and they're affecting us because we don't understand it and we don't care to understand. But when the conversation is opened and brought to the table, amazing things happen. Freedom happens, and there is true freedom in your transparency if you can keep it real with yourself and the others around you. But, you know, you may have to fight the same battle more than once, and you have to be okay with that. But you also got to be okay with opening the conversation and being communicative with those around you because you never know someone's story until they tell it. But in the meantime, in between time, I'm going to catch y'all next time. It's your girl.